Hi folks, welcome to this video. Martin speaking. This is the next instalment in our How to Play Warhammer 40k 7th edition. In this episode we're going to look at the assault phase. So most of this video, to be fair, is going to be down on the table, looking at how the miniatures charge in and things like that. But yeah, give you a little introduction. So when we move into the assault phase, we finish shooting, you're now going to declare your charges. The very first thing that we have to do is declare any charges that we want to make from one unit to another. How do we do it? We've got to be within 12 inches to charge another unit. So you look at which units are on your battlefield, and you make your decisions, and you declare one at a time the unit. So you would declare a unit is going to charge if it's within its 12 inches. At that point, then your opponent gets the chance, if he wants to make an overwatch shot. Now, overwatch is simply you can use all the weapons except weapons that snap fire. So you can't use like template weapons, like blast template weapons or heavy weapons. You can't snapshot. Flamer templates, it's worth mentioning at this point, get what's called the wall of death. So you roll a d3 for a flamer weapon, and that's how many hits you instantly cause, regardless of range. If somebody's charging, you get d3 hits with the flamer, and then you would resolve them as normal. For all the other guys in the unit, so let's say for argument's sake they've got bolt guns which would rapid fire. Each guy would get 2 shots each, and they roll. And because it's snapshots, that means they need to get 6s to hit. Any 6s cause the hit. You then resolve them as you normally would in the shooting phase against the wounds. The strength and toughness with the models. You are allowed to make any cover save. So if you're charging from terrain, you would naturally get that cover save. If you're a bike, for example, you can jink. Absolutely fine. So even though your opponent might hit you on the 6s and wound you, you still get your chance to save. You always still take away from the first model. After Overwatch has been resolved, you then need to measure the distance again, make sure that you are still in charge range, and if you are, measure how far it is. You roll 2d6. If you get equal to or higher than that number, you successfully make your charge. Now, how do we do it? We move the very first model, so the closest model to the closest friendly model to the closest enemy model, in the most direct line possible, so the shortest route possible. So that guy gets in first, then you can choose what order you bring the other guys in. You have to keep them all within coherency, but it's ever so slightly different coherency here. It's either 2 inches horizontally or 6 inches vertically that they can be in coherency. You get everybody in with as many models in base-to-base contact with the enemy as physically possible. If you have to go across any difficult terrain, if it's dangerous terrain, you would take your normal dangerous terrain test. If it's only difficult terrain, you have to subtract 2 from your charge roll. So if you needed to get an 8-inch charge, you'd actually need to roll a 10 on your 2d6 to make that charge. Also, if you go through terrain, then to simulate the fact that you would be treading slightly more carefully, running through rocks or ruins or whatever it might be, you drop to initiative step 1 when you charge in. We'll talk about initiative steps in just a moment, unless you've got assault grenades. So the likes of Marines, for example, have assault grenades, so they're not hindered by it other than the -2 move. So rather than just keep them talking through, I think it's going to be easier at this point if we go down to the table and I actually play through some assault moves, and then we'll talk about multiple assaults, we'll talk about sweeping advances, assaulting vehicles, we'll talk about everything that we can, and I'll come back up to you in a moment, guys. I'll see you in a second. So we're going to look at charging now. And what we're going to look at for the first instance is charging not through terrain, so standard charge. At the beginning of the assault phase, you would declare a charge, your opponent makes an overwatch shot, and then you see if you make the charge in. You do this for each unit in turn. You do not declare all your charges and then make your moves. You declare them one at a time, and your opponent chooses whether he's going to make his overwatch as and when that is. So in this instance, the Chaos Marines are going to charge into the Dark Angels. Closest guy to closest guy means he hasn't got to go over terrain. So you measure what the distance is. In this instance we're 4 inches. We're going to say that we've rolled Overwatch. I'm not going to do that on video, it doesn't need to be done. And then we'll roll 2d6 to see whether that charge range is right. So in this case we rolled a 7. We know that it was 4 inches, so he goes base to base into contact. The rest of the guys you move how you want to, as long as they get into contact, then that's absolutely fine. Put as many models into base contact as you feasibly can. So you would have that situation. Right. So same scenario, but we're now going to have to go closest to closest means we're going to have to go over terrain. So therefore we've still got a 4-inch range. We're actually going to have to -2 on our dice roll, so we're going to have to roll at least a 6, which 4 + 3 is 7. So that means that we still make it in, and everybody else will come round as allowed. You get to the back onto there, and again they're all in combat. So it'd be very seldom that you'll actually have your combat looking this neat. It's normally a bit more clumped up. But what we're going to talk about is initiative step piling. So each model has an initiative level in its characteristic value, and what that allows you to do is fight at a higher initiative, fights before a lower initiative, as you would possibly imagine. So you work down from 10, working right the way down. If nobody has got any higher than, I don't know, say 5 initiative, then you don't worry about steps 10 to 6. You just go straight to the first highest initiative. That person then strikes blows. If there is somebody at the same initiative, they strike blows back, and then you keep running down until everybody that is alive has fought. If somebody at a higher initiative kills somebody at a lower initiative, that person doesn't get to fight back. If 2 people who are both at the same initiative, you get to fight at the same time. At each initiative stage, your models compile in 3 inches. So if you had models that were like this, at the initiative step piling, they get a 3-inch move, which means he could come round to there, and he would come round to there to be into base contact. And that's how you do your initiative steps. Now for actual combat, there are a few things you need to know. If you've charged, you get +1 attack on the charge. So regardless of what the stat lines actually are, we're going to say that these Chaos Marines have charged, so they get 1 attack each. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chaos Marines, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. Now these guys have all got a close combat weapon, which grants an extra attack, so there's another 5 attacks for them, and then they've also charged, so therefore they get another 5 attacks. The Marines, however, have just got 1 attack each. They didn't charge and they haven't got close combat weapons, so they're going to take 5 attacks. Now you look at the table, same as with shooting, you've got weapon skill as opposed to ballistic skill this time, and you work out on the chart exactly what you need to actually score. And because these guys are all initiative 4, they're going to fight at the same time. If somebody was higher initiative, they would take their attacks separately. So you roll them either simultaneously or normally one after the other. So in this instance we need 4s to hit. So we take away the misses. That's a good amount of hits. The Dark Angels hit them back. We're going to get 2 hits. Now the Chaos Marines are strength 4 against toughness 4, so they need 4s to wound. So they've caused 4 wounds, and after these 2 they need 4s. They also cause 2 wounds. So in this instance, the Chaos Marines need to make armour saves. They pass both of theirs, and the Dark Angels need to make 3 of armour saves. They've actually failed 2. Had they made all the saves, combat would be a draw and you just stay locked in combat. But in this instance, 2 models of the player's choice are removed from play. So he's going to take those 2 off, which means he has lost combat by a total of 2. The 3 guys left in the unit now need to make a morale check using the Sergeant's leadership of 9 minus the wounds lost, minus the combat resolution. So 9 minus 2 is 7. So on 2d6 they need to roll a 7 or less. Double 1, they're fine, they stay locked in combat. Had they rolled a 9 for example, they would then have failed their leadership and would need to break. So they need to see how far away they're going to run, but first of all we need to see whether or not these guys can do what's called a sweeping advance and catch them. So you roll an initiative test for each unit. It's a d6 plus your initiative, so they're both initiative 4. These guys have got 9, these guys have got 8, which means that they catch them and that whole unit is destroyed. Had that been the other way round, then these guys would have gotten away, so they would have rolled 2d6 and they'd have gone straight back off the table 8 inches. So they run out of the battle 8 inches away. This squad now gets to do what's called a consolidation, which is a 1d6 movement, so they can consolidate 5 inches wherever they want. So they might want to go off towards an objective or another unit somewhere. And these ones obviously were removed from play. That's the simplicity of combat. It can be, as I've explained in the video, it can be quite complicated to get through, but if you break it down and take your time with it, it's a fun part of the game and it's not too difficult. But maybe try it all at the same initiative step first, because that's where things start getting a little bit tricky, and when you add extra rules in for modifiers. So now we're going to look at a multiple assault. This time this unit wants to assault both of the Dark Angel units. For whatever reason you might decide to do this, you fancy your chances, you want to try and hold them up in combat, whatever it might be. In this instance, both of these units get to fire their Overwatch and it's resolved. You then determine how it's going in. So in this instance we'll say obviously this unit's closer, so this is your primary target. Whichever unit you shot at in your previous phase, you have to make them the primary target to shoot at. So in this instance we're only 3 inches away and there's no terrain, but from there we are 4 inches away. So we're going to need 4 inches for here and 3 inches there. So in total, to make the full charge, we're going to have to go at least 4 inches. On a double one, the charge has failed. Now I didn't show in the last video, if you actually fail your charge, these guys just stay exactly where they are. They don't move at all. So had that been a nice big number of a 9, then that's fine. Closest to closest first, which we knew is that one. And then you get to choose which one's going in where, as long as everybody goes into base contact with another unit. You would then resolve the 2 combats exactly as we did in the last video, in the last scenario, but the difference with this is combat resolution for the whole thing takes into effect. So if these 2 units pool their wounds caused together, this one unit pools the wounds against the 2. If the Dark Angels were to fail this time, both units take the morale check and both can end up running away. There are certain rules which would stop sweeping advance, which I mentioned before. Now Marines have a rule, they shall know no fear, or if you are fearless you might stay in combat. We'll cover those when we get into the special rules. For the purpose of this, I'm ignoring those rules just to show you how it would have worked. And that's how we'd use combat. Right, so that's taken us through everything we need to see with regards to standard assaults and multi-assaults. We need to talk about assaulting vehicles. We've done the vehicles section, but I purposely left this out until this point. When you assault a vehicle, you charge into it and you always attack against a vehicle's rear armour. So we'll use a Space Marine Rhino for example, which is rear armour 10. That means that your strength 4 standard Marines, if you were playing Marines v Marines, on 6s can cause glancing hits, because when you make your attacks you're always hitting against the rear. We assume that all vehicles have a weapon skill of 1, so you're always going to need a 3 to hit the vehicle. You don't just automatically hit it unless it's immobilised, and then you get an automatic hit. Once you've made your rolls to hit as you normally would, you then roll to see what you can do. If your model is stronger than the rear armour, then okay, you can get the penetrating hit and you do whatever effects are necessary. What you can't do is consolidate from a vehicle. So once you've assaulted a vehicle, whether you wreck it, explode it, or whether or not you don't manage to strip any hull points, you don't remain in combat with it, you remain 1 inch away from the vehicle. So in the following turn, the enemy's not, your opponent's not actually locked in combat, because obviously vehicles can't fight back. Other than walkers, but we covered them in the video. So you don't consolidate. If you do wreck it, you don't manage to get your D6 consolidation like you would do off a unit. And that's just the way the game rolls. It's just slightly different with vehicles, hence why I'm mentioning it there. Right, so that pretty much covers the assault phase then. We've had a look at how it works. It's probably the most complicated part of the game, if I'm completely honest, and it's the bit that people can get stuck on. Don't let it bog you down. If you're getting really concerned about 2 inches away, 1 inch away, 6 inches away, initiative steps, for your first few times, just play it that once you've reached combat, everybody's in combat. Get used to rolling some dice, get used to playing some games. Once you're a few games in and you're familiarised with a lot of the other rules, then start worrying about exactly what model has made it into combat and how many can attack and when they can attack and things like that. You can simplify this for your first few games, and I would suggest you do it, because I say it is the most complicated side, I personally think, of the game. But as always, guys, I'm not a rules guru. I didn't write the rules, my normal disclaimer. If there's anything I've got wrong, drop it in the comments below. But at the same time, if you're happy with what I've done, if you've got any ideas, obviously I'm still recording these other videos for you as well. Drop some comments down. Press the like button if you like it. Press the share button and let's share it out. And if you haven't already, then feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. More content to come. Next episode we're going to look at is going to be characters and how characters work in the game. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.